Dhamma talk today that I would like to explain is Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta. This sutta is very important meant for those who want to find a way to practice meditation. The Buddha explained about meditation methods in this sutta in complete and detail. And he gave the guarantee that if anyone develops the mindfulness established on the four foundations, then one of two fruits, Anagami or Arahant, could be expected for that person. I will explain to you this sutta based on Rector Sayadaw Dr. Nandamala Biwamsa, who was our teacher from International Theravada Buddhist Missionary University and also based on the Pali text. This will be a long Dhamma talk. I will explain day by day. Why is Maha placed here? The reason is that the Satipatthana Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya and Digha Nikaya are preached by the Buddha at length. One other Satipatthana Sutta in other Nikayas are being preached briefly by the Buddha. The word Satipatthana is composed of Sati and Patthana in Pali. Literally, Sati means mindfulness. Patthana means setting up or establishment. In Sanskrit, it is Samratyupasthana. So after the assimilation, it becomes Sati and Upatthana. Here, the Rector Sayadaw prefer Upatthana over Patthana. It is because Sati and Upatthana are used frequently in many sutta as the mindfulness established on the object. In fact, Sati associate only with a wholesome mind, and the Buddha also mentioned it in many sutta. We need Sati all the time. Sati is not extra, it is always necessary, just that every curry needs salt. So also, we always need Sati at all times. However, other Dhamma such as Saddha, faith, Viriya, effort, Samadhi, concentration, Panya, wisdom, need to be adjusted with each other, and they should be balanced. But Sati is always needed. Sati combined with Upatthana. Upatthana means object establishing mindfulness. In other words, Upatthana is foundation. Satipatthana means mindfulness established on the four foundation. Satipatthana is being mindful on the object, especially being mindful on the four kinds of object: body, kaya, feeling, vedana, mind, citta, and mind object, dhamma. Only such kind of mindfulness is called samasati. Rector Sayadaw said that the word Satipaṭṭhāna, translated into English as the foundations of mindfulness, needs to be reconsidered. It is because of the word Upaṭṭhāna being translated as foundation alone. If Upaṭṭhāna is rendered in this sense, then it only emphasizes the location of mindfulness. The foundation of mindfulness does not exhibit the emphasis on the focal point, mindfulness, but only on the objects, kaya, vedana, citta, and dhamma. In the true sense of the word, the Satipaṭṭhāna puts much emphasis on mindfulness, not on objects. Therefore, the English translation of the four foundations of mindfulness is needed to be reconsidered. In addition, the Rector Searle prefer the word Satipaṭṭhāna to be translated as the mindfulness established on the four foundations. Let's start to read the first Pali paragraph. Evam me sutta ekam samayam bhagava guru suviharati kammasadhammanama korona nikamo tadrakho bhagava bhikkhu amante si bhikkhawoti Badante dite bhikkhu bhagavato paja so. I have heard this. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living in the Kuru country, where there was a town of the Kuru named Kammasadhamma. There he addressed the bhikkhus thus, Bhikkhus, they replied to the Buddha, Venerable Sirs. Buddha preached Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta in a market town, which is known as Kammasadhamma town in Kuru country, because the people who stay there are able to absorb deep Dhamma. According to nowadays map, Kuru country located at the north of India, near New Delhi. Kuru country has good weather and proper necessaries. Because of living in good weather and proper necessaries, the people in Kuru country are always healthy and healthy. Because of being happy and healthy, which is conducive to the development of wisdom, they are able to absorb the deep Dhamma. Therefore, the Buddha preached Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta in Kuru country. When the Buddha preached this sutta, he firstly mentioned the benefits. Why? It is because people usually think first, what will they get? When they do something, if they could get benefits, they would want to do more. Therefore, the Buddha first preached the benefits that can be gained by being constantly mindful through one of the four objects. Bhagava Ida Davoja. The Blessed One said this. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave mego sadhana visuddhiya soka pridevana smadhikamaya dukkha domanasana attingamaya nyayasa adhigamaya nibbanasa sajjikariyaya yadidan jataro satipaṭṭhāna. Ekayano Yam Bikawi Mago. Bikawi is monks. Again, this is Ekayano Mago, the only one way. Ekayano Yam Bikawi Mago, monks, this is the only one way. If one establishes sati efficiently, this is the only one way to go to the goal, Nibbana. Only one practice gives 7 benefits. Only one practice means to develop sati only. What are 7 benefits? Saddhana Visuddhiya, Soka Paridewana Smartigamaya, Dukkha Domanasana Attingamaya, Nyayasa Adhigamaya, Nibbanasa Sachikariyaya. The first one is Saddhana Visuddhiya, for the purifications of the beings. It is the only one way. Look at our minds. Our mind becomes defined with lobha, dosa, moha, mana, asa, or materia, depending on the object. Defilements arises in our mind one after another. As long as defilements arise in our mind is not pure. Only Satipatthāna practice can do for the purifications of the beings. To do this, we must develop mindfulness through the 4 objects of contemplation: body, kaya, feeling, vedana, mind, citta, and mental object, dhamma. Sati, being mindful of the 4 objects, brings about the benefit of purifying beings. People often say, this person's mind is pure, but such statements are merely superficial. In reality, the purifications of mind, as taught by the Buddha, means being completely free from kilesa, defilements. A mind free from kilesa is untroubled, undefined, peaceful, pure, and calm. Therefore, the Buddha declared Saddhana Visuddhiya. The Satipatthāna practice is the only path for the purifications of beings. So, the first benefit of practicing Satipatthāna is to clean the kilesa, defiling our mind, and to make the mind to be purified. If our clothes are dirty, we wash it with soap to be clean again. So also, if we wash our mind with Satipatthāna practice, our mind will be purified. An arahant's mind is forever pure. If one becomes Sotapanna, Daithi Kilesa, which is wrong view, and Vicikiccha Kilesa, which is doubt concerning with Dhamma, do not arise again. A Sotapanna is completely devoid of these 2 kilesa, defilements. The purifications of the mind, like this, thanks to the power of the 8 Magginga led by Sati. Furthermore, if one becomes anagami, kama raga, sensual desire, and vyabhada, hatred, are completely absent in him. If those mentioned kilesa were no more, akusala mind would reduce a lot, and the mind of an anagami is purer. Above all, a as soon as attaining the Arahata Megaphala, all impurities of the mind are completely purified. To have the mind purified completely, we should exercise the Satipatthāna practice. By the practice, we can get the purifications of the mind completely. This is one benefit of practicing Satipatthāna. The next benefit is Soka Paridewana Smartikamaya. For the overcoming of Soka and Parideva. Soka is sorrow, thinking about what had happened and what will happen. For example, thinking about losing one's own properties or beloved one, Soka arises. In other words, if things have not happened yet, then having anxious thoughts, and if something has already happened, one also feels sorrow. People own sorrow, Soka. The nature of Soka is the nature of an anxious mind. It is all about feeling. If one knows that his property is about to lose, he feels sorrow. If he already lost the properties also, he feels sorrow. This is related to property. Let's see, concerning the person, if one's relative gets an illness, he worries the illness becomes worse. And when the relative is in critical condition, he also feels sorrow. To the point that if he has nothing to worry, he worries for himself. It is called anxiety, and in Abhidhamma terms, it is domanassa vedana. It is a kind of feeling associated with dosa, and it is hard to bear. It is like the boiling wine in the pan, ready to fry something. So also, like this, the mind is. For the overcoming of sorrow, we should practice Satipatthāna. It is the only way if we want to remove sorrow, which makes the heart bend. Accompanied with Soka, Parideva also arises. If one cannot manage sorrow, Soka, Parideva, crying or lamentation arises accordingly. For the overcoming of lamentation also, we should practice Satipatthāna. It is the only one way to remove sorrow and lamentation, Soka and Parideva. Let's think. There is no one who has no Soka. If we have nothing to worry about for others, we will worry for ourselves. Some people said that they don't worry. However much they said, they worry anyhow. But they just don't know that they have worriness. Even if something has not happened yet, Soka already arises. Practicing Satipatthāna can remove Soka, sorrow, and Parideva, lamentation. When the loss of relative, Nyati Pyasana, the loss of properties, Bhoga Pyasana, the loss of health, Roga Pyasana, people worry, then Soka arises. Therefore, For the overcoming of Soka and Parideva, we should practice Satipaṭṭhāna practice. Next one is Dukkha Domanasana Atthāngamaya. For the disappearance of pain and grief. Dukkha means Kayika Dukkha, bodily pain, and Domanasa means Cetasika Dukkha, mental pain or grief. Headache, toothache, backache, fever, coughing, etc. are Kayika Dukkha. Because of suffering from Kayika Dukkha, mental suffering, Domanasa, arises. The nature of Soka and Domanasa is the same. They are Vedana accompanied with Dosa. But they have different aspects, which is way of arising is different. Soka arises if something got lost or is nearly lost. Domanasa arises because of dissatisfaction or dislikes. The Buddha preached two kinds because their way of arising is different. If one feels headache, Kayika Dukkha, mental suffering, Domanasa arises. If one gets sick, Kayika Dukkha, mental suffering, Domanasa arises. If one feels toothache, mental suffering, Domanasa arises. So if Kayika Dukkha happens, Domanasa follows. For the disappearance of bodily pain, Dukkha, and mental suffering, Domanasa, we should practice Satipaṭṭhāna practice. It is only one way to remove Dukkha and Domanasa. Practicing Satipaṭṭhāna can remove these four kinds of suffering: Soka, Parideva, Dukkha, and Domanasa, which made our heart bend. These four are hard to bear. If we can overcome them, how valuable of this practice is. The concept of Soka will not exist. The concept of Parideva also will not come. The concept of Dukkha and Domanasa will also not happen. How much of peacefulness and satisfactory is. These are the 5 benefits of practicing Satipaṭṭhāna. Among the 7 benefits of practicing Satipaṭṭhāna, in terms of negative aspects of the 5 benefits has been discussed. What are they? They are for the purifications of the beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief. Now, let's see the positive one. The next benefit is Nyāyasa Adhigamaya, for the reaching of the noble path. Nyaya refers to the noble eightfold path, the way of going to Nibbana. Adhigamaya means reaching. If one practices Satipaṭṭhāna, he can reach to the noble eightfold path. He can reach to the noble path to go to Nibbana. This is also a very good benefit. Not only for the reaching of the noble path, Nibbanasa Satchikariyaya, for the realization of Nibbana, Ekayano, it is the only one way. Realization refers to personal experience. Although people say about Nibbana, if he has not attained Magga and Phala yet, Nibbana is not his personal experience. It is only guessing and saying. If one practices Satipatthana, he can realize Nibbana himself. Satchikariyaya means really knowing with one's mind. In brief, the Buddha preached that there is not another way to get the 7 benefits except the way to practice the Satipatthana. Ekayano yam bhikkhave maggo saddhana visuddhiya soka pridivana smatikkamaya dukkha domanasana attingamaya nyayasa adhigamaya nibbanasa sajjikariyaya yadidan chattaro satipatthana. This is the only way, bhikkhus, for the purifications of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for reaching the noble path, for the realization of Nibbana, namely the mindfulness established on the 4 foundations. The only way means the Satipatthana practice, the mindfulness established on the 4 foundations, which can obtain 7 benefits. Katame Chattaro. What are the 4? Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupasi viharati atapi sambhajano satima vineya loke abhijja domanasam. If you understand Kaya part, you can understand the remaining 3, Vedana, Citta, and Dhamma, because the way of practicing are the same. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupasi viharati. Ida means here. Bhikkhus means all bhikkhus. Bhikkhu is bhikkhu. Kaye is body object. Kayanupasi means one who contemplates the body again and again. Viharati means abide. So, ida bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupasi viharati means here bhikkhus, a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body again and again as the body. Why is the body used twice? It is because he wants his disciple to know the body object clearly and discriminately. Don't contemplate body object as Vedana, as Citta, and as Dhamma. Contemplate a body object as body. While contemplating, what are the factors really needed? Atapi, ardent effort, viriya, sambhajano, clear awareness, panya, satima, mindfulness, sati. These 3 have to be included. One practicing meditation, viriya, panya, and sati are compulsory strength. Although saying Satipatthana, it does not mean that only sati is required. One practicing meditation, viriya, panya, sati need to be together, especially out of the Noble Eightfold Path, Samma Viriya, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, Samma Sankappa, Samma Ditti, include together The 5 Mekinga need to function together. Let's continue. Vinaya loke abhijja domanasam. Vinaya means removing. Loke means in regard to the world. Abhijja is desire. Domanasa is displeasure. Vinaya loke abhijja domanasam is removing desire and displeasure in regard to the world. When one contemplates the body as the body, why he has to remove abhijja and domanasa, desire and displeasure? If one goes to the other shore, he needs to leave this shore. If he does not leave from this shore, he will not arrive to the other shore. So also, when one contemplates the body, he has to remove hindrances, nivarana. Desire and displeasure are hindrances. Hindrances arises in the mind and define the mind. It can make wisdom weak. It can block the kusala mind from arising. Therefore, it is called hindrances, nivarana. When hindrances arises in the mind, kusala mind cannot arise. These hindrances have to be removed when practicing Satipatthāna. At this time, the Buddha only mentioned 2 nivarana hindrances, abhijja and domanassa, desire and displeasure, among the 5 hindrances. Abhijja here means thinking about the object with greed, lobha. The abhijja mentioned here is not the same with the abhijja included in the akusala manokamma. If we don't notice, we may think that they are the same. How different are they? The abhijja in the akusala manokamma is that thinking it is good if I own others' properties. In other words, the abhijja in the akusala manokamma is the mental activity wishing to possess properties or things that are owned by others. On the other hand, according to Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta, the abhijja indicated in the 5 hindrances refer to the thinking on a desirable object with greed, lobha. And opposites with a desirable object is an undesirable object which we don't want. When it appears in the mind, it causes displeasure, domanassa, to arise. In another word, displeasure, domanassa is the thinking on an undesirable object with hatred. In summary, the abhijja in akusala manokamma is a moral defilement with an unwholesome karmic effect due to its intention to steal or take. The abhijja in 5 hindrances is a meditative obstruction. It disturbs concentration, even if not worthy blame, even if not morally blameworthy in the same way. Both come from greed, but they are different in where they happen, how they work, and how serious they are. The Buddha said that not let arise desire and displeasure. To prevent it from happening, the factors we need are Atapi, ardent effort, Sampajano, clear awareness, Satima, mindfulness. The factors need to be removed are desire, avijja, and displeasure, domanassa. If we are not mindful, when we see an object as desirable, then we perceive it with greed, lobha. And when we see it as an undesirable object, then we perceive it with hatred, dosa. Ida bhikkhave bhikkhu kaye kayanupassi viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke avijja domanassa. Here, bhikkhus, a bhikkhu abides contemplating the body as the body, ardent, clearly aware, mindful, removing desire and displeasure regarding the world repeatedly. Contemplation of feeling, vedana, is also in the same way of contemplating the body, kaya. Vedana su vedana nupassi viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke avijja domanassa. Contemplating the feeling as the feeling, ardent, clearly aware, mindful, removing desire and displeasure regarding the world repeatedly. If we have no mindfulness and experience good feeling, desire will arise. And if experience bad feeling, displeasure will arise. Contemplation of mind is also in the same way as mentioned in the body session. Chaite, chaita nupassi viharati, atapi sampajano satima, vinaya loke avijja domanassa. Contemplating the mind as the mind, ardent, clearly aware, mindful, removing desire and displeasure regarding the world repeatedly. If we have no mindfulness and appears a thought of satisfaction, desire will arise. And if appear a thought of dissatisfaction, displeasure will arise. The factors to be removed are two, avijja and domanassa, desire and displeasure. The factors to be possessed are three, atapi, ardent effort, sampajano, clear, aware, and satima, mindfulness. Concerning Dhamma, it is also to be practiced in the same way as previously mentioned. Dhammesu dhammanupassi viharati atapi sampajano satima vinaya loke avijja domanassa. Contemplating the Dhamma as the Dhamma, ardent, clearly aware, mindful, removing desire and displeasure regarding the world repeatedly. If we have no mindfulness, when something appears desirable, greed will arise. When something appears hateful, displeasure will arise. If we contemplate the body, kaya, feeling, vedana, mind, citta, or Dhamma object with atapi, ardent effort, sampajano, clear awareness, satima, mindfulness, then desire and displeasure are to be removed. It is the only one way for the purifications of the beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for the reaching the noble path, and for the realization of Nibbana. This is briefly preached by the Buddha in the Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta. The commentary explains why sati was established on only 4 object foundation: Kaya, Vedana, Citta, and Dhamma. The Buddha has a reason for it. The beings hold the wrong concept. This is called in Pali Vipallasa, hallucination or perversion. They need to remove this wrong concept facts. What are wrong concepts? Concerning the body, people think that the body which is not beautiful is beautiful. Even if the body is not beautiful also, they try to beautify it. People think that the body is super, beautiful or pleasant. They never think that the body is asubha, ugly or unpleasant. They think that only dead corpses are unpleasant, asubha. If someone says that your body is unpleasant, asubha, you may not like it. Do you like it? Generally, no one likes it. Let's think further on whether our body is clean or not. If we do not take a bath, not clean and not apply any sense on our body, even we cannot handle our own body. Therefore, Kaya, body is really asubha, ugly or unpleasant. But people concede the reality and think that Kaya, body is subha, beautiful or pleasant. This is called Vipallasa of 3 kinds: Sanya Vipallasa, wrong perception; Citta Vipallasa, wrong thought; Ditthi Vipallasa, wrong knowing. So the Buddha preached Kayanupassana Satipatthana in order to see the reality as it is, to remove the hallucination, because we do not have mindfulness. We do not see the reality of the body as it is. We conceive the reality of the body and we see the body with wrong concept. Therefore, the Buddha preached the practice of Kayanupassana in order to remove wrong perception, thinking unpleasant asubha as pleasant subha. The next wrong concept is thinking suffering, dukkha, as pleasure or happiness, sukha. People always think of happiness. People usually say Happy New Year, Happy Birthday to each other. People wrongly think such joyful feelings are really happiness. This is Sanya Vipallasa, Citta Vipallasa, and Ditthi Vipallasa. Wrong perception, wrong thought, wrong knowing. The Buddha said that this is not really happiness. The Buddha preached the practice of Vedananupassana Satipatthana to remove wrong concept, thinking, suffering, dukkha as pleasure, sukha. And then, why the Buddha preached Vedananupassana Satipatthana? People usually think that my mind is always eternal, endless, and seek less. Actually, mind changes constantly. The lifespan of one mind is one portion of 1,000 billion times per second. Although the mind changes very fast, people think that my mind is stable. This is wrong thought. The Buddha preached the practice of Cittanupassana Satipaṭṭhāna to remove wrong concept, thinking impermanent nature as permanent nature. If one practices Cittanupassana with strong sati, he will know the process of impermanent mind, and he can remove wrong concept. Sanya Vipanlasa, wrong perception, Citta Vipanlasa, wrong thought, and Daithi Vipanlasa, wrong knowing. Thinking mind is permanent. The last foundation is Dhammanupassana Satipaṭṭhāna. Dhamma means Citta, Cetasika, and whatever that appears in the mind. People usually think that the ultimate realities as I or Atta. For example, you see me. With which do you see me? You see me with I consciousness, but you may think that I see Siali. Therefore, people usually think that the ultimate reality as I or Atta. To remove such wrong concept, Sanya Vipanlasa, Citta Vipanlasa, Daithi Vipanlasa, the Buddha preached the practice with strong sati of Dhammanupassana Satipaṭṭhāna. People think unpleasant asubha as pleasant subha. Suffering dukkha as pleasure sukha. Impermanent nature as permanent nature. And non-self anatta as self-atta. To remove these wrong concepts, the Buddha preached the mindfulness established on the four foundations, Kaya, Vedana, Citta, and Dhamma. And it is the explanation of the commentary. According to the Anguttara Nikaya, if whoever has attained Magga and Phala, then it is because he has already removed 5 hindrances and has sati established on the 4 foundations. The realization of individual is only different between quick and slow wisdom. Let's see the late devotee Visakha. She became a Sotapanna at the age of 7. Although she was 7 years old, her wisdom was quick. Let's see the late devotee Anatha Pendika becomes a Sotapanna, and although he did business, his wisdom was also quick. They listened to the Dhamma preached by the Buddha and became a Sotapanna. The Buddha preached the Dhamma to them at the beginning with the talk to make the mind purify, Dana Gatha, the talk of doing Dana, Sila Gatha, the talk of keeping Sila, Sakka Gatha, the talk of reaching to heaven if doing Dana and Sila, and Kamana Adiwanawa Gatha, the talk of disadvantage of sensual pleasure. After that, the Buddha preached about the 4 Noble Truths. He preached the 4 Noble Truths dukkha, samudaya, nirodha, and mahāsatipaṭṭhāna is to give the instruction for the practice. Having seen suffering, dukkha in the body, with the noble eightfold path, magga, while listening to the Dhamma, they remove the cause of suffering, samudaya, and attain the cessation of suffering, nirodha. How to see dukkha, suffering? The four foundations are dukkha, suffering. If one establishes sati on the four foundations, he sees dukkha, suffering. Removing hindrances by establishing samadhi. Whoever establishes sati on the four foundations can attain Maggaphala and Nibbana. Those who are free from samsara, such as Buddha, Pajjika Buddha, Arahants, Anagami, Sakadagami, and Sotapanna, used only this one way. There is no Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, and Arahant using the other way. Some people think that someone only listens to Dhamma and attains Maggaphala. The practice is not needed for them. Actually, this is not correct. One explains the Four Noble Truths that someone has already practiced at the same time. The wisdom is very quick, sees now, knows now. Therefore, establishing sati on the four foundations is the only one way to get 7 benefits. The Buddha gave 21 objects of meditation in the Mahāsatipaṭṭhāna Sutta. One can practice one of the 21 objects with sati established on the object to eradicate defilements. Among the 21, there are 14 in Kayanupassana Satipatthana preached by the Buddha. Again, the Buddha divided 14 into 6 sections. Practicing our mind with the object to sharpen our sati and wisdom is called meditation practice nowadays. Meditation means to train the mind with an object. Kayanupassana Satipatthana means to train the mind with a body object repeatedly so that sati does not lose from the object. If sati is firm, then arises the wisdom which knows clearly the condition of the body, the nature of the body, the action of the body, the proximate cause of the body. One contemplating the kaya, body, with strong sati repeatedly, the wisdom become sharp and understand more about body, kaya. The Buddha preached many ways to make people understand more about body, kaya. Let me stop for today here. Only tomorrow we'll start the Kayanupassana Satipatthana. So if you have question, please write down and then send email to the Sister Tran. Tomorrow, after class, if I can answer, I will answer. Let's share our merit today we have done to all living beings by reciting Idam me punya. Idam me punya asawakaya vahahotu. Idam me punya nibbānasa pacayo hotu. Mama punya bhagan Sabbasatana Pajimi Te Sabbe Me Sama Punya Bhaga Labantu Sadhu Sadhu